It's spring! Look at the birdies. All right, here's what's up. I have an amazing, fun transformation to show you guys. So I am filming it. We are doing a complete bleach out. So let's show you what's happening. Okay, this is her before. We usually weave her hair, and we've already done some of the bleaching process, but we weave her hair and she wants to be blonder for summer. So we are going to do a complete bleach out, smudge and tone, and she is going to get this yellowy out of her hair. This is what's already been applied, and we're just going to do it to the fourth quadrant on the left side. Alright, here is my go-to. Flash lift and 20 volume. The consistency of your lightener should be thicker rather than thinner so that you will get the amount of coverage needed. Okay, so we're going to always start with outlining their hairline. The reason why that's so important, because this is where they're going to see the blonde first, and you never want to forget anywhere on this hairline. Okay, now that we have outlined the quadrant and her hairline, we're going to start taking really, really small sections. And I'm going to start from the bottom. And since she was previously highlighted, you can see that there's the brown that goes out throughout that blonde. And then there's this blonde that has a yellowy tone to it. So for her case, I know her hair is healthy. I know it can handle the 20 volume. So I'm just going to apply it to her roots. Really small sectioning, making sure it goes all the way through. And then I will just go over the ends a little bit. And I'm going to watch the ends while she processes, just in case I feel like they're done. Then I'll rinse her out when it's super simple. Then we can let her roots process. So kind of the same thing up through here. Just making sure it's all saturated. That's the most important part. And just getting a little and bringing it through the ends. Just 20 volume. And gonna lift up those brown pieces throughout the blonde and make her really, really blonde. If she was already platinum with no lowlights through her hair, you do not want to overlap bleach. And we can do another video on that, but just since this is a transformation from highlights to an all over, just the step you gotta take. Okay, so now that she's completely covered from scalp to ends in 20 volume, I'm just gonna go around her hairline one more time and just make sure everything is covered. That is the most important part. And go around each quadrant, pulling hair apart, seeing where it's dry, seeing where you need to touch that bleach again. And this was the first quadrant we did, and you can just see how much lift is already in that. And her hair feels amazing. I'm not worried one bit about that. So a couple things. First, you need to make sure and tell your client that it itches her scalp. And it's gonna maybe burn a little bit, but if it burns too much, get that off the scalp because they're allergic to that. So just keep an eye on that and constantly ask how their scalp is. And if it does bother them, you can always give them a little comb and they can tap the head, but don't scrape the head because then that opens the pores and then can cause more burning and possibly scarring in the head. But don't worry, it's still super, super safe. Just let them know it's gonna be itchy and uncomfortable for a little bit. So we're gonna slip this cap on her. This is gonna keep the heat insulated so that her roots will lift and she won't have any of this warm banding. Her ends were already blonde, so I'm not worried about making sure there's heat on these. But as long as the roots are covered with this cap, she'll be able to process evenly and lift a little bit faster than normal. I'm just looking at what time it is. Okay, she is probably processed about 45 minutes. We like to go low and slow. And she is ready to go tone and root smudge. Perfect. Okay, here she is in the bowl. We are gonna rinse her out in cold water. Make sure you tell your client that it's gonna be cold, but the reason why it needs to be cold is one, her head is probably sore a little bit, so the cold feels really good on their scalp. And two, if the hair is warm, the cold water will seal the hair back up. So just do a really good rinse out, and then I'll shampoo her out with purple shampoo. We're going to be shampooing her out with the Perfect Blonde by Pravana, just to pre-shampoo it. Okay, so now for her root tat, we are going to do 7C Shades EQ, 7N, and 7V. The reason why I'm adding a little bit of 7C is because I'm going to fill the blonde, the pigment that we took out, which is warmth. So we're going to put a little warmth back in and then give it an ashy natural root. Okay, most important part, outlining her hairline and the quadrant that you're working with. You want to make sure you get everything. Then once it's all outlined, you will be able to go through section by section. I'm just tapping her root because we don't want a lot of root, but we just need a little bit in there so that when it grows out, it's not going to be as noticeable. Now I'm just brushing through the smudge, making sure it's evenly blended throughout the hair before I tone it. went through and left the roots on and now put toner over everything. We did 9V, 9P, and Shades EQ. And the most important part to look for when you're toning ashy hair is this silvery gray purple tone right here. This is going to end up white once you blow dry it out. And that's the problem, is people will take toners out too soon and then it ends up being yellowy when it looked done in the bowl. We like to say, wait until you're scared and then a minute longer before washing out, and then you'll get the perfect tone. Look how amazing this turned out. She's got that natural root, and then the tone is a nice, cool tone that she asked for. There is no yellow, and this is pretty low maintenance. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, but I hope you learned something from transforming someone from highlights to a platinum blonde. Thanks again.